Okay, so I'm completely stuck with Python. It's a simple script that I've got. It looks complicated, but most of it is working fine. In fact, all of it's working fine except one little thing. And that is right about there. So let me explain my setup. Really simple. I've got a Raspberry Pi and I got two servo motors connected to it. I've got my servos imported, GPIO and all that. That's all fine. Problem I've got is extremely difficult to explain verbally, so I'm going to show you in real time. So I've got my Raspberry Pi ready here. And here I've got a command prompt on Windows on my computer set up ready to send a little test signal to it. So I need to run this script on the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is talking to the servos. Lovely. So then we're going to send a message, again using Python, but with socket. Very simple thing to connect to. There we are, they're talking to each other. And now it's waiting for me to enter a command or send a command over the WebSocket to my script. So I'm just going to show you where that is. So when the server begins, it'll run this loop forever here. And it's checking to see what command is received over the WebSocket. It's really simple. So whatever word I type in down here, it'll do on the left-hand side here. So if I type in get and then run the get function definition, here it is. If you type in get in capitals, it'll reply with whatever is in the stored value, which is your WhatsApp. Let's see that happening. Get, see, it works, right? There is communication over WebSocket. So to move the servos, you can see here already. If we type in move Y or move X followed by a number, it'll run these two. And it works, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, I've even got some limitations here. It won't allow me to move the servo past a certain amount. So let's just test that that works. Okay, I'm going to type in move, and I'm going to Y, and we're going to say 10 degrees. There, that's working lovely. Let's do -10. Beautiful. And let's center that up. Lovely. So then what I did is I made a thread where we brought in input thread in, and we defined a thread function right at the top, because I ran into a problem where it had to be at the top. Anyway, here we are doing the same thing. So in the thread function, while true, which is going to loop forever, every time it loops around, we want to print thread loop. The reason I've got a try here is because I'm trying to solve the problem. This isn't outputting anything, which we'll see in a minute. So the idea is it sleeps for 1 second, and then it sets the angle to 5, just like what we just did here, but automatically. So the Y angle float 5. Again, I tried it like this. I tried it like this. It doesn't seem to be that being the problem, so I just left it as that. So let's just have a quick recap on how the move X or move Y, they're both the same, will handle this. There's the action. Servo X.angle is angle int. And angle int is a float from the data message. Data message is this, the second number that we send here over the WebSocket. So that goes into angle int, and it gets checked that it's not too big, too small, and then it gets past the servo. Simple as that. So it works, right? And the way that we fire that off is with the data transfer. If we get where is it? There, start. If we send start with no further number after that, creating thread gets printed. There's our X. It's just something to hold the thread in, right? Threading, thread function gets called, and then we start it right there. So just double look here. Does this look correct to you? It looks good to me. Start, blah, 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 blah. Right, and then we start it, okay? And let's go and double check what's in there. Thread function, there it is, blah, blah, blah. Let's just see if that works. There it is. Right, so thread loop is there. You can hear the servo moving. So it's there, our thread loop started again, so that means it's come through to the top here. It's still moving and it's working great. And it is definitely threading because I can interrupt it with what are we doing? Moving the Y on this occasion. So now it's doing 5, then -5, 5, then -5. So in a moment I'm going to press enter and you'll hear it moving out of sequence to 10. See? And it's still carrying on. It's working brilliant. This is exactly how I want it to work. So let's just close everything down. So we're going to interrupt that. That stops. That's all expected. That's all normal, brilliant stuff. Now the issue is, if I run the start command before any other command, it doesn't like that and it crashes and it won't tell me why. So let's do everything again. But this time I'm not going to send any commands except start. So let's run that. Good. And let's run that. Connected. Lovely. Let's type in start and press enter. There we are. So we can see here that this is returned back to the, it's crashed out or ended in some way. It's not told me why. So let's see how far it got. So creating thread, starting thread, and then thread loop, which means it definitely reached there before failing. And of course, originally this didn't have the try except on here. So this used to look like that, right? It used to look like that, and this is, where the problem came from. Is, I put the try except around there then to try and catch an error. I had this different. I think it was just, it was that before. Well, not literally, that, right? No change. It doesn't output anything. This stays running, but we can manually end that. And again, just proof of concept that this is definitely what's going on. We're going to start that again. Oh no, yeah, that's the other thing. The something still runs, because you've got to give this a couple of minutes before we can actually reuse the connection. So some connection is sort of still happening. Let's try, is it ready? No, it's already in use, but it times out after a while. So here's a quick overview of the code. If you need to see this, just pause it or message me and I'll send the thing to you. There's nothing private in here. It is just a basic servo script. So here's line 1 to 55. There's line 55 to 109. 109 to 163. And that's the end there. Okay, so this is ready. Again, this is now proving that if you type some other command first, then it'll be fine. So on this occasion, let's type get. Oops. It returns to us, yo, what's up? That's the thing that is stored there. And now let's try start. Cool, that's interesting. Why did it do that? It sent yo, what's up again. I don't know why that is, but it's working, right? If you type any command to it, there's something up. Yo, what's up? So this is what I'm struggling with. So let's just have a look at that again. It starts here, while true, which is a continuous loop. Try, select connection, which we know we're not having any issues with, fine. Then it begins data transfer with that connection. So a big loop that sends and receives data until told not to do so. True. There it is, it's coming in. Buffer size 1024. UTF-8 splits the data in there, turns it into a command because it's the first part of that data split. If the command is get, reply, get, and that is a function there, reply becomes the stored value, which is a string that we've seen above there. Return the reply, do that, elifs, send it back over the connection, data has been sent, and then we receive it. Then, okay, so we can ignore everything else because what we did there was get, and then we did start. So blah, 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 start, creating thread, creates the thread there, is a reply, defined outside of the scope? No. Maybe reply is retained within a while. Reply isn't redefined by the start. Okay, fine. So your WhatsApp might get sent again because it's not redefined and it's still within the same while loop. Okay, fine. But why, when we come in here and run a start command at the very beginning, why does that crash? So let's try it again. So again, last time we had to type get, we had that, we had to type start, and it's working fine. So let's end that, start it back up again, Great. Launch this. Start. Crashed. No idea why. It makes no sense to me at all. So yeah, thanks for spending, 16 minutes or whatever it might be. I'll probably edit out the boring parts before posting this video, but this is where I'm stuck. So yeah, any help greatly appreciated.